Hi, everybody. Welcome back to the Average Joe Down Under podcast. And today we've got Cal with us, who is a TikToker slash on Instagram. And he has been, I know we say TikToker, mate, but
Right.
that's where I find you, and that's where I was able to get you on. So uh, let's just start off with where are you from and where did you come to in Australia?
Okay. So, hello everybody. My name is Cal. I'm from a little spot called Lisburn, which is about 20 minutes from Belfast, up in Northern Ireland. Just turned 29. Just came over to Australia in right at the very end of April. So I've been here now like 4 months, 4 and a bit months, something like that. I came over to Perth. Well, first of all, I wanted to go to Australia just because I wanted a bit of a life change, and there was always a dream to go traveling, always a dream to get to Australia, and I was on the way there. Then COVID really put a stop to all my plans, and sort of had to juggle a few things about back home. And but yeah, got here a good few months or a couple of months ago, and yeah, I've been love. Well, people have been asking me like, "Oh, are you living your best life and you love it and all?" Like, not really. To be fair, I've just got straight into work. I came over to Perth because I knew that was where like the Australian mining industry was, and I knew that was pretty lucrative. And you hear about the amount of money you can make over here, and like doing the FIFO gigs, and that was sort of the reason why I wanted to come over. Want to come over, get balls deep into that, save up a load of money, and then just use that money to then further my travels. Really, so I'm in that phase right now. It's just sort of going through the swings. Just finished I'm just about to start my fifth swing. So I'm doing three and ones at the minute. So three and ones is where you work 3 weeks on, 1 week off. It's known as the suicide swing because you're ready to rip your head off by the by the end of it. Like 3 weeks is a long time.
Well, first of all, did you have any, before you even came here to Australia, did you have any mining
No, man.
experience
No,
at all?
no. From obviously not. I have like absolutely zero experience in like anything like even like manual labor kind of stuff. My main like working career like back home in Belfast was like I used to run nightclub events, nightclub parties, raves for students, and used to put on events like all over the country really. And then whenever COVID happened, that completely stopped everything. And then we started a print business, and I was just doing like every little job you could think of. Was doing deliveries for takeaways, was doing Amazon. I was driving the Amazon vans at the weekends while we were working on the print business. And yeah, then I started working for Lidl in the supermarket, and then I just sold my car, sold my mountain bike, sold my surfboards, and was just like, right, see you later. And then now I'm here.
Now you're here. Wow, that's definitely a change, if you could say, from working in a print business and nightclub events. You're definitely not nightclubbing at the mines, are you?
Definitely not. Definitely not. Definitely not.
No. Well, I think you've been getting tons of messages, and I've been getting a lot of messages about construction and like FIFO work. And if anybody out there is wondering what FIFO work is, FIFO is like fly in, fly out. You're not. Are you a fly in, fly out kind of person, or do you drive to your location?
I fly. So like I'm based in a small little mining town called Parapadu, and it's a Rio Tinto based site, which Rio Tinto is one of the big companies over here, and the entire like mining town is like pretty much like made for to source Rio Tinto's like mine sites up in the Pilbara. So I work in the Pilbara, which is like a really like iron ore rich area in northwest Australia. And yeah, it's pretty much like the scale of everything is friggin' insane. It's actually it's mental. It's mental the size of things, and it's insane how it all operates. And but it's been pretty cool. Like I'm into landscapes and world economy and like knowing all like supply chain shit like that. Like it's mad. Like the stuff gets like sort of comes out of the ground here, gets refined here, then it goes like on these big automatic like trains that are literally like like 100 or like 80 like carriages long, and they just go straight to the port in Port Hedland, and they automatically get put onto barges like big massive ships that just go like back and forward to China like all day non-stop. And iron ore is one of the main ingredients in like steel and alloy and shit like that. So yeah, everything that has got metal in it, a lot of it's come from Western Australia, and just like the whole like sector, the whole mining sector over here it's mind blowing.
Yeah, there's
You
a
know.
lot to it, whereas people just think that you're working on machines or you're doing whatever out in the middle of nowhere, but you're actually there's a lot to it. There's
Yeah,
so many different types of jobs out there as well. Well,
there
let's
is.
first of all let you. So you got to Perth. Um, Tell us about because everybody's asking about how did you get that job? How did you obviously said you came over. You really wanted to work in the mines. How did you go about getting a job? Because I know you've documented
Yeah,
parts on your TikTok.
yeah. Well, the proof is like 100% in the pudding. Like I had like zero experience coming over here. Like didn't know anybody. Didn't know like you hear loads of people saying like, oh, you need to like know somebody to get in, which like is obviously a help, but like you can I'm sort of proof that you also don't need to do that. So I just knew I needed to come over here, and then I just like got all these like tickets. So pretty much like little courses that you do over here to like deem you sort of competent to friggin' drive forklifts or work at heights and all this kind of crack. So they're almost like these little like they're called tickets over here. So I pretty much I got over here for a week. The very first day I did like all of the admin stuff, and like you can do all of it in a day. It's like you just go into town, sort out your bank account, sort out your Medicare, sort out your phone, sort out your all that kind of shit, and then just that's that out of the way. And then I pretty much started getting all the tickets and stuff like that, and I did them all in one spot called Licenses for Work, which is a spot in Malaga in Perth. And yeah, pretty much started to do them all. Very first one I did was the white card, which is like you need to get that to work in any kind of construction. So did that on the first day, and the second day I did working at heights, working in confined spaces, working with gas tests and atmospheres or gas atmospheres or something. The next one was a 2 day course doing elevated work platform over 11 meters, and then the next one was the forklift, and then the next one was the heavy rigid license, like the lorry license. So I pretty much got all those, and then I was like tried to do up my CV myself over here. They're called resumes, so just tried to do the resumes up myself, and then I got onto a company called Win Win, and they completely bossed it for me. There are two girls, Alana and Jess, two complete legends, and their sole like business is like trying to source people like us, foreign like for overseas people, but also Australian people. Try to source them like how to get into the mines a lot better. They have like years and years of experience of getting into that or being in that industry, and also like finding people jobs in the industry as well. So I pretty much rang them up and said, just go over here from Ireland. Don't really have any experience. Super keen to get involved. These are the tickets I've done. What do you think my best plan of action is here, kind of thing? Then I sent them over my resume. They sent me like they completely whizzed it up, at like edited it all, made it look sweet,
Yeah.
and did my cover letter for me. Tip like overall my like Seek, which is like a Indeed back home. It's almost like a job finding app. And yeah, without like Win Win, I would have definitely struggled. They made my CV and cover letter look way better. And even like whenever people were even like whenever employers were recontacting me, they were saying like my CV like stood out from other people's. And then I just got once I had the CV like from Win Win, I just got applying for like shitloads of places. Got applying shitloads of places, and then just after a sort of a week or two, got a couple of interviews, and then went to them all, and then sort of had a pick of I think it was 5 jobs I had to pick off, and then picked the one that I'm doing now. So anybody coming over here,
Awesome.
I would definitely recommend contacting Win Win. The main girl's called Alana. A couple of people ask me like they can't find her or whatever, so it's spelled W1 like the number one W1N space W1N. So Win Win. You just type in like Win Win recruitment or something, and just get chatting to Alana and say pretty much why I did like just go over here looking to get into the FIFO industry, did this kind of shit before. Please fucking help me, because like I reckon like you hear people like coming over here and like really struggling like to get places, and like even I know people like personally that have like been trying for like months and months and months, and like they're not really getting anything. But like the difference that like going through that Win Win company Like I thought it was like night and day. So like anybody who asks me for help, I say like fucking speak to those girls, and they'll leapfrog you above like everybody else. It's not really like they like get you the job as per se, but they just make you like way more like credible, way more like employable, and way more attractive to the recruiters, and yeah. So
Yeah,
yeah,
I've said that that's one of the things is like a lot of people need to do is revamp their CVs because I think us at
yeah,
home have a different way of actually
yeah.
doing a
It's
CV.
different. Yeah, yeah. I agree. I agree. So like what? Yeah, whenever I read like the CV they sent me back and what I sent them, like they're just fucking like 10 times better, like way better. So I think like so I, even though it was a bit of money up front, but like I got the job way quicker, even paying that bit of money, like, and the money you're getting paid is like good anyway. So like I was happy to spend a bit of money to pay for one of their packages because it just it got me the job like pretty quickly. So anyone who's coming over, I would definitely recommend hitting them up. So I would.
Yeah, well, awesome advice. Can you just maybe if you can remember how much those kind of cards cost? Was it a couple $100? Was it a thousand or so dollars? Or
Do you mean like the tickets for like your forklift, your white card, and
yeah,
all that
the
kind of crap?
tickets. Sorry, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
So I think I spent on in total, which was I have a fucking note of it, for tax purposes.
It can be rough. It doesn't have to be exact. Just
Yeah,
thought maybe like
the HR license, which is probably the most important one, I would say, for people to get, which is like it's heavy rigid, so it's pretty much you to like to be able to like drive a truck over here. I call it lorries back home, but like your HR license, I'm pretty sure it costs like $1,400 or 1,400 Australian dollars. So that's like what's that, like 700 quid, 750 quid, something like that, which is pretty expensive, but like it was once I sort of said I had that, I found like I was getting a lot more sort of contacts and people talk or get in contact with me again. But like your forklift license, it was a 2 day course. I think it was like $300-400. The elevator work platform was again 2 day course, $300-400. And then I think like you're working at heights and confined spaces and all kind of crack. Uh, they were all a couple hundred as well. But see, to be honest though, like looking at things in hindsight, I've actually like not used any of the tickets really. Yes, it obviously has
hmm.
made me. It probably has been useful because like it's made me more like credible for the recruit, like someone recruiting, because I have like a longer list of like tickets I've got. But actually, like the actual job I'm doing right now, I haven't like used any of them. Do you know what I mean? So it's a sort of bit of like a catch
Yeah,
22. So I suppose it depends on what like your actual role is going to be and what they're sort of looking for. So I just thought, fuck it, don't really know what I want to do. Want to get in somewhere. I just want to try and make myself as credible as possible. So just try and get as many of them as you can. And like even though they cost a bit of money, getting them all done, I'm paying for the win-win thing. You're gonna make that back in like your first fucking week's pay. So like you just do it if you're like serious about it. And also as well, like other people, I would say like other people were saying like, oh yeah, I'm trying to get jobs. I've just been applying on Seek. Like that's not enough. It's actually not enough. People were saying like, oh yeah, I've been trying for ages. I've been trying for ages. But I was saying like, have you actually been trying though? Like, are you actually like physically trying? Because like, I'm in the same boat, and I was trying for a week, or I was trying for like, it took me, I think it was like 26 days or something from like landing to like get my job. But like, I was all in the fucking go as soon as I got over here. There was no holiday. There was no chilling out. There was no whatever. I got over here and got my tickets started in the first like week or two, and then got all them done, and then just got applying like fuck. Like it was literally applying for, I don't even know. I was just spending like hours on my phone at the beginning. And then it was follow up phone calls, contact them on like LinkedIn. I was just hounding, and I was just not stopping until I got something. And I think that
and that
if
sets
people
you
come over
apart as
here,
well.
yeah, exactly. And so I was like going out actively looking them, and I was phoning them every day. And I was like, "Is this you phoning again?" I'm like, "Yes, it is me phoning again. I want to be at top of your list for anyone that drops out, or if you need anybody, I'm top of their list." And even now, I'd still get like like contacts and phone texts and phone calls of like, "Oh, just wondering, like, do you still want a job?" Just because like I made so many contacts like at the very beginning. So if you are serious about like actually getting a job and you want to get into this kind of industry, like you need to go out and sort of grab the bull by the horns rather than just sort of sitting in your hotel or sitting in your hostel or whatever and just like applying on Seek. Yes, obviously that's good, but like it's not enough because like everybody's doing that. That's another thing actually I found whenever I got over here. I sort of it's definitely made out like online. You can just come over here and you just get like straight into getting a job. It's a lot more like competitive than I thought it was going to be. Like whenever I got over it, there was my hostels were filled with French people, filled with like American people, filled with Australian people, all looking to get these jobs because the barrier to entry is like so low. Like anyone can sort of like get them. Do you know what I mean? So like
Mm.
they're a lot higher earning and like that's sort of why like everybody's chasing them. But back home, anyone who's sort of earning the money that you can make, you would need to be like a doctor or like a dentist or some fucking high up job. Whereas over here, there is the ability to make like shitloads of money, but there's just I thought it was quite competitive. So
Well,
I guess
everybody wants to get the good money because they want to travel,
yeah,
or hence they just want a better life for themselves, and that's why they came to Australia in the beginning, you know.
yeah,
Um,
yeah,
so
definitely,
so let's go from that. So you've got the CV all sorted, you got a job, you got your choice of jobs really. What made
yeah.
you choose the one that you were actually went with in
Uh,
the end?
yeah, so the one I actually went with in the end was directly for a company. So like normally whenever people come over, they'll get hired by like a labor hire agency or whatever, and that agency will sort of like you'd be working casually. So like the agency will sort of tell you what hours you're on, and all that kind of shit. Whereas like I got an offer from like an actual company to be working like permanently with that company. And yeah, the role was something I had never heard of before, didn't know much about it, but just from like asking other people again, talking to those win-win girls, I was saying these are all the options I have on the board. These are all the interviews I went for. What do you think is the best one to go for? And they definitely said the one that I went with. The other ones were like I had a couple of drillers offsider rules, which are notoriously for, or they're meant to be like the hardest one you can get. The more like sort of the most like taxing on your body and the hardest ones. So I had a couple of those interviews, and like I was gonna go for one of those. Like if I didn't get this other one that I'm doing now, so yeah, it was mainly just sort of doing a bit of research yourself and chatting to anyone that you knew over here that was involved. I didn't really know anybody, so I was like counting on like again what the win-win girls were telling me. I'm like, yeah, they were definitely right. Now like I've been in the industry for a little while and like know what is sort of it takes kind of thing. You know what I mean?
So those girls were really critical to your success in the
Yeah,
beginning
yeah,
there, especially offer helping you
yeah.
to do the decision.
Yeah, no, 100%, 100%. So anyone coming over here, if you're like, no, I'm in Western Australia, but like they look after people from like all over Australia, so I would definitely hit them up. And like they would even like say to you like you need to get these tickets because your skill set is sort of based more this way, or do you know what I mean that way? I just yeah, there were just a lot. If like my path, yeah, my path to where I am right now was definitely shitloads of help from them at the start, definitely. So yeah.
Okay, so you basically went and chose this job. You said you're working 3 weeks on, 1 week off.
Yeah,
Um, okay, so tell us what you're a bit about you're doing on the mines,
right. So my role is
can
called
you?
so my role is called a serviceman, right? So a serviceman is pretty much I drive around in a truck or a lorry is what I call it, and the truck. My role is pretty much to go around the whole site and like make sure all of our machines are like they run around the clock kind of thing. So like I need to make sure that they're all completely like filled with fuel. I need to make sure like they're all completely great like greased, all the pivots and all the movement areas. Like they all have like grease nipples, or they all have like automatic like grease cartridges, and need to make sure they're all right. Then my truck also has like engine oil and hydraulic oil and transmission oil and coolant and AdBlue, and I just pretty much have a wee routine where I have to go and like visit all of our machines every day. So like you're completely flat out, but uh yeah, it's tricky. I'm sort of visiting like 35 to 40 machines like every day, and you're literally just drive the machine, jump out, turn the compressor on, flip the door open, and then you're usually pulling out like a big bulk diesel hose, which is like a big massive like thick diesel hose, or we like petrol one, and then yeah, you'll be filling it up, and then you'll be running around with the grease gun and hitting all the grease nipples, and you'll check do they need AdBlue or check do they need engine oil or usually the operator tell you, and yeah, it's just fucking flat out. And then you just pack everything up and go to the next one, and then you just do that all day long.
G'day, you're listening to Average Joe Down Under. Hit that subscribe button yet? Go on, you know you want to.
So yeah, it's pretty hard.
First of all, you're obviously finding it difficult, but you obviously like it enough that you're still staying there. Um, what's first of all, I suppose, what is the accommodations like? What do they put you up in?
The comedy it's a temporary site. Like you see all these like videos on TikTok and on what do you call it, YouTube and shit like that. And like the site that I'm at is like a way more like temporary site. It's almost like you ever were you like see whenever you were in school, were you ever taught like in like mobile homes, like sort of like
Yeah, I was just
caravan
thinking
kind
that
of
that was
things?
was.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's sort of like that. It's sort of like that, and it's almost like people call it like a glorified prison. It sort of is because like we're not even like allowed out into like Parapadu or whatever because like there's more people that live in our like site that like live in like the entire town of like the little like mining town. So you're not really allowed like out of our site. And I think there's after like everybody comes up, there'll be 1,600 people living on this site, and like it's it is what it is. It's not really that amazing, but it's not like completely fucking shit. Yeah, it's not glamorous at all, but it's not completely shit either. So like you have the mess, there's a bar, you have like gym rooms, you have sort of like laundry spots. You have like a music room. You have a big room with, like like pool tables and fucking ping pong tables and shit like that. So it's like it's whatever. Like no one really wants to be there. Everyone's just there because you're making shitloads of money. So like yeah, it's sort of whatever. It's not really that amazing, but it's not really that terrible. But that's only like on my site. I'm sure like other sites or like 'cause I'm working at the minute for a Rio Tinto site, so I'm not sure like if other sites you go to or whatever are going to be more glamorous or less glamorous, or yeah, I'm not sure.
yeah.
Don't know.
Well, I suppose this is it. You don't know until like you go there. Really, is it? There's no one really to
Yeah,
ask.
yeah,
Um,
yeah.
so you work 12 hours really. On those 3 weeks on, what is your week look or those 3 weeks look like?
Yeah, so I'm pretty much the alarm goes off 4:15 in the morning, and then I we leave our site at 5 to 5. So we'll all leave in like utes, which like trucks, and we'll drive for maybe like 40 minutes, like from the site from the camp until we actually get to like our like work site. Then we clock on at 5:30 in the morning, like we write down 5:30 in the morning, and we'll sign on our like JHAs and our all that kind of crack, or yeah, our triple C's and all that kind of crack, and then sort out put your crib in the fridges, and then pre-start will start at 5:30, and then our day will pretty much we'll clock off again at 5:30, and then you have to do the 40 minute like drive back home again. So like we're we get paid for like 12 hours, but like you're out of your room for more than 12 hours. We're not getting back to not getting back to site until about 6, 5 past 6, 10 past 6, quarter past 6, depends on like how busy the traffic is, or traffic's in like how many utes and stuff are all going back, and sometimes you're stuck behind buses or people driving super slow or whatever. But yeah, you'll be getting back at around whatever like 6 or quarter past 6. Then it'll just be a race to go in, get showered, go and get some food. 'Cause usually the queues in the food place are quite big, and then you'll normally get your dinner, and the food's actually like okay. It's like I was actually expecting it to be worse. The thing I am the utility sort of company that's looking after like our site is called ESS, and I think they're going to be like relatively good. Like so, yeah, the food's been dead on as well. It's not like obviously it could be way better, but it could be way worse. Do you know what I mean? And then you'll have your dinner, and then you'll go in. Yeah, you'll go into the crib room and make up your lunch and stuff for the next day. I normally have like wraps, and there's like paninis or toasties, and there's like sausage rolls and make up sandwiches or have salads and all that kind of shit. So like it's decent. The food's actually alright.
Yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
but at least there's some perks. Do they? So on those 3 weeks, first of all, is it every day you're working those 3 weeks?
Yeah, so you're meant to have a half day. I don't even know if I should be okay, I'll say it. So I after for every 3 weeks you're meant to have a half day. We're meant to have a half day every day that people are flying in and out, right? So our flying day is a Wednesday. So on like tomorrow, the people who are like on the site I'm on right now have the option to have a half day. Well, all the operators are definitely having a half day, but the people are in the workshop like me have the choice whether to stay on or whether to go have the half day as well. So I'm sort of in the boat of like everybody's up there anyway to like earn. So like I don't really want to take a half day. I'll just go back to my room and chill out. Some people do. Some people do want to go back to the room and like sort out their washing and friggin' I don't know, go to the gym for longer and whatever. But like nah, I normally don't take the half day and just work for 3 weeks like in a row. And the swing the swing I'm just after doing was actually longer because I have to get from we normally had a flying day on a Wednesday, or sorry, on a Monday, but now it's on a Wednesday. So I had to do 23 days in a row. So yeah, it's fucking shitloads, man. But
Yeah, yeah. Even a
that's
couple of days extra is like tough.
yeah,
Um,
they drag.
yeah. So tell us. So obviously, you're up there doing all this. What kind of? Obviously, they provide the perks. You got the gym, the mess hall. Do you get the food all included, the accommodation,
Yeah.
or does that come out of your
All,
pay?
No, no, all included. So like for anyone who's like wanting to make like a shitload of money in like relatively like quick time, like I'm not paying for any rent or anything. I'm not paying for any food. The only thing there's like a wee tuck shop that you sort of buy like a box of sweets or chocolate or fucking whatever else you want. And then obviously the bar you have to you're allowed four mid strength beers is what like everybody's assigned to like every night. But yeah, I sometimes I buy a couple of beers, but generally I don't. So yeah, you're not you can literally go up there and like not spend anything. And if you're away for like and you're like if you're away for 3 weeks and you're working 12-hour days, and my pay as well, like we get paid what's called penalties. So we're like you get like double on a Sunday, you get like time and a half on a Saturday, and all that kind of crap. You're paid for like your travel in and out, and so it's decent, especially if you're not like if you're not like tied to anything like back home. You're not having to like pay off any debts. You're not having to cover a house or pay off insurances or anything like that. Like I'm not really paying off anything. So like everything I'm making over here is just going into a travel fund for me to sack it all off and go
Have
traveling after
have fun, yeah.
after this.
Have
Yeah.
a bit of fun after. Um, okay, so well, obviously those 3 weeks you're pretty flat out. So when you come back, what do you do for that week? What's the go-to? I've seen you do a few trips to Albany and go to the beaches and
Yeah, so I try. So I try on the week off. The week off, like it's honestly not. It's not long, like at all. So it's not really like a long enough time to like go somewhere like really far or anything. Like it's really not. So you're generally so battered by like the end of your 3 weeks that you just want to like complete. Some people want to completely chill, but I sort of want to try and like sort of travel as much as I could like within Western Australia on my weeks off. So like this here, the break I'm on right now, like I haven't that my last break I went to Carrangini National Park, which is like this cool sort of red rock gorgy kind of spot, which is maybe like 2 hours away from like where my like site was. So I rented a car and yeah, went there for my last week off, and then the week off before that was yeah down to Albany to see the whales and all. So Albany's about 4.5 hours away from Perth, and I drove down and stayed in there for a couple of nights. So I'm still trying to like go and do shit and sort of visit places on my week off. But like this one, I've just sort of recovered and chilled and ate well and went to the physio and sort of looked after myself a bit more. Whereas that last one, the Carrangini one, you were like yeah, the Karen Genie one wasn't really like a break. It wasn't really like a nice relaxing sort of break off because like I wasn't coming back down to like the coldness of Perth. I was still like fucking up in the Pilbara. Do you know what I mean? So yeah, the next one, I definitely want to try and get to go to Exmouth, which is like a real popular spot, like up sort of the very northwest, where like the water looks unbelievable and nice beaches and shit like that. So yeah, I'll definitely want to keep trying to like travel about a bit and sort of utilize my week off, but at the same time you're bloody knackered. So it's sort of a bit of a catch-22. Like, do you want to go and see things and do adventure and stuff like that, but sort of sacrifice you not relaxing, or do you want to relax and chill out and not see things? You know what I mean?
Yeah, and I suppose that's the catch-22 when you're working so hard.
Yeah,
I know, because when I was doing 70, 80 hours a week alone, and I was only doing it for 10 weeks at a time, like, you get crazy tired, but like,
yeah,
it's just, you
yeah,
just don't want to do anything on the weekend, but you have to force yourself.
yeah, yeah.
So how would you describe Perth in Western Australia in general? Because a lot of people out there are probably thinking, oh, maybe I might want to move to Western Australia at some point.
Yeah, I'm probably the wrong person to ask because I haven't actually like really seen that much of it like at all. Like I came over here and then just got working like right away. Like it took me actually I got a job quicker than I thought like than I was planning on to. So I was sort of hoping to get those tickets and then be able to sort of travel about a bit and while I was looking for a job, but I got a job relatively quick. So I've only really been to Albany. To be fair, I went to Rottnest Island. That was pretty fucking cool. It was cool. Went to
That's
Rottnest
lovely.
Island.
Mm.
Yeah, it was unreal. It was really good, and I was camped there for 2 nights, and yeah, got a wee electric scooter and just flew about there. So yeah, Rottnest Island was sweet. I definitely recommend doing that. It's definitely a lot colder than people made it out to be. Like at nighttime and stuff. Like I only brought like one hoodie, and I wear it all the fucking time because it's still relatively like cold over here. So, but obviously like where I'm working, like in the Pilbara, it's hot. It's hot as shit. So, but whenever you come back to Perth,
And
it's
it's just getting
definitely a lot.
hotter.
Yeah, whenever you come back to Perth, it's definitely a lot colder than I thought it was going to be. So, but actually, like Perth itself, yeah, it's pretty cool. It's it's pretty really big. Like I don't have a car here, so like I've had to sort of rely on like public transport a lot, which like is pretty cool. It's a lot fucking better than back home anyway. So yeah, you just get a little. Do I even have the wee fucking card here? I think card in my pocket. Oh, it's a Medicare card. This card. That card there. So that's like a trans Perth card. And the system is way better than back home. Like, so the app, you see that a lot there? No, it's not going to show you. But they're pretty much like, they have like GPS systems in like all the trains and buses and shit like that. And you're able to like go onto the app and like live follow all the where everything is and stuff like that. And you can, yeah, I thought it was pretty good. It's a lot better than back home anyway,
Yeah,
the public transport.
100%. And
Uh,
they're gonna arrive.
Yeah, yeah. So, but coming over to Perth, I would if you're like going to be based here, I reckon you would need a car, like sort of, just because like yes, you can get the places, but see, whenever I was doing all those tickets and stuff, like I was I was walking, then getting a bus, then getting a train, then getting a bus, then walking just to the spot just to get there, and then I was doing that on the way home, and like a journey that would take you like fucking 40 minutes in the car was taking me like 2 hours, just because you're waiting for, you know what I mean. So like the the network is cool, but if you're going to plan to stay here for a long time, I would definitely recommend like getting a car. So I would, but Perth itself is pretty cool. Like Kings Park's fucking real sweet. There seems to be like those like events and shit on all the time. There's like markets down in Scarborough. I haven't been to those yet, but like I heard they're pretty cool as well. You go down to Fremantle, which is a real nice wee spot as well, and like the actual city. Yeah, it's decent. Yeah, but again, like yeah, I was just gonna say, yeah, I'm just in like my whole plan was to come over here and get one of these FIFO rules and just work like a dog until I could save up everything. So I'm just in that right now, and even though it's like a struggle to like, it's like so like mentally, it's just like a mental thing. So it is like it's so like all in your head. Like your moods can be like so up and down, and it's a lot on your body. You're like away from everybody. Obviously, you're away from like I've been away from like friends and family like from back home, but you're like I was another thing I've sort of maybe like struggled with a bit, like because I only have like a week off, and I came over here and like got into work like right away. Like you're only really off for a week, so I haven't really been able to like make any like solid connections with people outside of work because you're only here for like a week, and then you're sort of chilling, and then like you're just away back again. Well, everybody like on site and all the crew and all, they're pretty cool, but like I haven't really like, you know, the way people come over here and make friends for life and all kind of shit. I haven't really done that because I haven't, yeah, I haven't really like allowed myself to sort of be based and go out and do shit enough to like find those people. Do you know what I mean? So
But also that is probably a good thing at this point of your life here when you're working so hard. Like having friends will probably like making loads of connections with people now is probably a hard thing for you to do anyway because once you finish this you're going to go traveling, right? So it's, you know, also like it kind of takes your mind away from the work because, you know,
yeah,
you are, that's what you're there for,
yeah,
right?
yeah, that's true.
But you know, we all love that social connection too, though. That's the main thing. Like we're human when we're built for social connection. So we like to have an interesting conversation from time to time rather than just about the mines, I'm sure.
Yeah, yeah, and yeah, no, I totally agree. I totally agree. So that would probably be like one thing I've just sort of had to like learn on the go kind of thing because I've obviously not like done any of this kind of shit before, and then just like jumping straight into like doing 3-in-1s where you're just completely changing your whole like schedule and your whole like routine of everything. It's yeah, it's been like tricky enough to be fair, but then you get paid on Wednesday, and then you go, okay, that's why it fucking is shit all the time. That's why I'm doing it.
Yeah.
And that sort of makes things a bit easier. And
Well,
yeah,
since you segued into pay there, I'm just gonna go and ask you. You said you're happy to share. Do you want to share some, like, you don't even have to share like what you kind of make, but you can share like what kind of average people would kind of
yeah.
expect to
So
get.
like I'm on a what's called like people are either on like flat rate or you're on like an hourly rate plus penalties. Flat rate is you obviously say for example someone's on like $60 flat rate, they would just get $60 for every hour they work. And a thing about like the mines as well is like you don't actually get paid like a high. You can get paid a high hourly rate, but you're also sort of you can get that pay in the city as well. But you're just doing FIFO stuff is the ability that you're doing like 2 weeks worth of hours in 1 week. So I'm doing 80. What how many hours you say you were doing for like a full? Yeah, so I'm doing 84 hours a week, and someone's like back home is like 37 hours is like a full time job. So I'm doing like pretty much fucking double that in 1 week. So that's how like you're able to earn so much, and the fact you're not paying for like any accommodation and any food. So like you're able to do shitloads of hours and you're not paying for anything. So like you are coming out with like a decent amount. So I'm getting paid 35.50. 35.50 that's per hour. But then on the last, so I get 35.50 for the first like 8 hours, and then the next 2 hours are time and a half, and the next 2 hours are double time after that there. So each week it's coming out to like three and a half grand Australian. So I'm earning that like per week, which equates like back home as money, as in like it's like 1,800 quid, £1,900, 2 grand a week. So
Yep.
uh right now though, that's also just because I'm on the backpacker tax bracket, and I'm about to not be in the backpacker tax bracket, so I get taxed 15% on everything I'm earning at the minute. But then once you reach a certain like threshold, which is 45 grand, it then goes to 32 and a half. So I am getting paid like decent amount at the minute. Like even like talking to boys on site and stuff, I'm actually like earning more than them right now, even though they're on like a higher hourly rate than I am. But their tax, some of them are getting taxed like fucking nearly like 3 grand. Some of them are getting taxed like 2.5 grand, which is shitloads. So I'm like I'm getting taxed way less than that. So yeah, the money's decent. So I'm every 3 weeks with what I'm doing now. It's like 10.5 grand every 3 weeks. So it is your own. That's like
See, like, and that would just really that would help you for everything you're doing. Like that's what you want to do.
yeah,
That's your goal.
exactly.
So what happens during that week off? Do you get,
No,
obviously
no,
don't
you
get
don't. No,
paid 'cause
no,
you're
you
not
don't get paid.
working.
You don't get paid. So like, so
No.
the very first, whenever you go up. So I'm going up tomorrow. Tomorrow is Wednesday. So I'll not get paid for Wednesday. I'll start get paid from Thursday, and uh, then I'll go for the week. But you're only getting paid from like whenever you get up to the end of the week, and then the next week I'll be getting a lot more because I'm working. I'm not doing the fly-in day. I'm just working again. So yeah, you get like the first week's pay is still sweet, but then your next two are a lot better. So it's that like obviously it's hard and it's long and it's grim and it's hot and it's shit, but like you're getting paid like pretty decently. But you're also you,
Yeah, I mean, even for a short period of time.
exactly. So like this, yeah, some boys have been up there for years and years and years. This is also not like you can just sort of go and do like a couple of swings if you want to do it for like a year, 6 months or whatever, and just sort of get like cashed up and then just fucking sack it. So it's really each to their own. So either options are there for whatever you want to do, really. But yeah, it's a decent way to earn a good bit of money. What were you going to say there? Sorry.
Yeah, and I was just going to ask, so obviously you're a serviceman. Obviously, with the different roles that there is out in the mines, is there obviously different pays for those roles? So obviously, the more technical, like if you're sort of some sort of tradie kind of
Yeah,
person,
yeah.
that you'd maybe potentially getting more money.
That would be correct. With my companies, like we're like an earth moving company, so it's like we don't have like electricians or like other like tradie people like carpenters and shit like that. Like we don't really have that. We just have the workshop, which are like heavy diesel mechanics, like the boys that like fix all the machines that are fucked, and then just operators. And the operators will be dump truck people or people who drive graders, people who drive diggers, people who drive dozers, and they'll all be on like probably a decent one, a bit more than I would be. And because I'm sort of still like relatively like new, like I'm on like the bottom pay bracket kind of thing. Whereas like other people who are like even like younger than me, but like I've got like more experience and stuff, they'd be getting paid more than I would. So like obviously it's sort of like similar to back home. You sort of need to start like at the bottom kind of thing and then like work your way up. But if you have like experience of like driving diggers and driving dozers and doing this and doing that, then it could be a bit more. Do you know what I mean? So yeah, the earning potential. So like what I'd be getting paid a week here would be way more than back home. I would need to work for like a month back home to get what get paid a week here. So with the with me just looking to get like cashed up for a while and then just sack it all off really. Yeah, that's what I'm going to do
Yeah.
for a while. You know.
Yeah, that makes total sense. Well, it's really good to hear this, like, your side of the story too, because there's probably a lot of stuff out there that's, like not really what happens, and so it's nice to hear from someone who's like come over and done it
Yeah.
themselves. And you give some good advice. Well, before we finish up, can you tell us some of the things maybe potentially that you would maybe some people could avoid doing, or any mistakes you've made that potentially like you think you could have done better?
Yeah. I'm trying to think of what else would I have done better. I'm trying to think like what good little things that you could think of that would help other people.
Or even just some tips for people.
Tips for other people, I would definitely say contact the women girls. They will put you leaps and bounds above everybody else, like sort out your resume and shit like that. And then after that, it's like then sort of they give you the tools, but then it's up to you to actually have the gumption to go out and actually like chase down the thing. As I said, like do all the follow up emails, follow up phone calls, follow up like contact them on LinkedIn and all that there. But I'm trying to think like what would I do differently? Probably maybe not. My whole plan was to come over here and like get working like really quickly, but like I maybe could have taken like a month or two to like actually sort of immerse yourself in the Australian sort of vibe and culture, and maybe that would allow me to have like made some more friends that I could chill out with a bit more on my weeks off. Whereas like I was very very like laser focused, so like as soon as I got here, I was like literally the first day I like sorted out all that their admin stuff. Then the next day was like booking all the tickets and shit like that, and then it was just like straight into it all. So I haven't really had like much of like a holiday. And I just went like from working my balls off back in Ireland, like saving up and then just selling everything and then just getting over here. And as soon as I've landed, I've just hit the ground running again. But I just heard like lots of stories of people coming over with like not that much money and sort of blowing the tits off as soon as they arrived there, and they were like freaking out to like they had no money left, so I didn't want to do that. But for anyone coming over, I would say maybe like, looking back on it in hindsight, I would say like I was maybe had like too much like tunnel vision to just go straight in and like look for the job. Like I haven't really seen much of Australia. I've been here like near like 4 or 5 months or something like that, and like that's like already nearly fucking halfway through your visa, and like I haven't really visited anywhere. Do you know what I mean? I've only like really went down to Albany. I went down to Albany for like 3 days, went to Rottnest Island for like 2 days, and then I went to Carangini for a week. To be fair, I'm a week off, but like I haven't really done any traveling like whatsoever, which was the whole reason why I was coming over to Australia in the first place. But on the counter to that, I would then say that, but this was my plan. My plan was to get one of these FIFO jobs and just get going with it as soon as I could, and then just save to then have a big pot of gold that I could then go and travel with. So it really depends. It's very individual. Sort of depends like what you're wanting out of your trip, and what kind of like route you want to take.
Yeah, it's what you make it.
Yeah, exactly.
And especially whenever like people come here, if you have the opportunity to do FIFO work, it seems like it's a really good cash cow to then go off and springboard and work in other places in Australia anyway.
Yeah,
if you've got more than 1 year at a visa. So
yeah, no, I definitely agree.
Yeah. Oh well, it was great to speak to you. But could you just let everybody know where they can find you if they want to look at some of your TikToks with the FIFO work?
Yeah. So like the TikToks, I've actually had like I probably get maybe 3-4 messages like every week of people saying like, "Oh, here, saw your TikTok videos. Tell me how do I whatever," and I'll just reply to them on Instagram and just send them a voice note. And where people can find me on Instagram, and my Instagram and TikTok are the same. So it's my name, Cal McIlwaine. So it's CalMcIlwaine. That's just on Instagram and on TikTok, and I've like made a good few little videos of like what kind of shit I'm getting up to, and sort of just follow along. So anyone who wants more information, or whatever, hit me up.
Yeah, and that's where I found you, and that's where I started following you, and I realized that you were doing up to some interesting events, and it's nice to hear from someone who's actually doing it and who's made the chance, because a lot of people come over here and I've got so many messages around not being able to find work, and especially they want to get into like FIFO or construction, and people say that they're not doing, no one's getting back to them. But I think people don't understand. You really have to chase people here.
You do. Yep. I definitely agree. And like that's what I tell people as well. That's what I was saying before. Like people think it's just enough to just sit on Seek and send out your resume. You are a tiny little speck in hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of applicants that these like recruiters are getting. So like you need to get out of your way to like make sure you're like leaps and bounds above everybody else. And yeah, I totally agree with what you're saying. Like chasing over here, I found, but whenever I got over, it was a bit sort of freaked out at the fact that I was like, fuck, my entire like hostel are all trying to get these FIFO jobs, and then you're going and getting those tickets, and like all the people there were all like young, like travelers and sort of young people, all looking to get into the FIFO role. I was thinking, fucking hell, like this is going to be like online. People definitely just make it out that you're just going to be able to walk over here and like walk straight into a job. It's bullshit. It's not the crack. It's like anywhere.
Yeah.
But on the other side of the coin, you definitely can do it. Like there is work going on. You just need to make sure that you're one of the people that gets picked up first. So yeah.
Yeah, and it's about that personal connection. I always say, like, if a recruiter knows you by name and says, "Oh, you're calling us again," like you said, that means that you're doing something. You're calling them. They know who you are, and here Australians, I find that they would bother you to get somewhere. Like, if they want something, they will go for it. And I think you have to be a bit like that. Whereas our culture tells us to wait and sort of like wait till they get back to you.
Yeah.
And be polite. Mm-hmm. And you just have to kind of, go for it. And I say that in any job. Just if you don't hear back, you need to call. Yeah. And if they don't get it, great. Ask for feedback. Next one, then you can know what to do better.
Yeah, no, you're right. Totally right. Yeah, totally right.
Well, thank you very much for coming on. I really appreciate you taking your time to be on the podcast today. So, thank you very much.
No worries, man. Just thanks for having me, and keep up the good work. And if anyone else has any questions for me or wants a God honest answer on what I think, or get my advice or my opinion on anything, hit me up, and I'll give you what I got.
Thanks for listening, guys. This has been Average Joe Down Under. If you like what you heard, then be sure to hit like and subscribe. Have a question for Darren or a topic you'd love him to discuss on the show? Get in touch at Average Joe Down Under on Instagram or check out www.darrenjonathan.com. See you next time. And remember, you're only ever one decision away from a totally different life.